the different programs under this 10 billion so that the MSMEs will realize that, oh, ako pala to, o pwede ako dito. Let's say number one, we have the PO financing and PO financing. So if I have a PO from, let's say, a big company or any company that's legit, I can go now to SB Corporation and loan against that PO. And then there's also check rediscounting. I got a check payment, but let's say 30 days, 60 days, I can already go also to SB Corp and avail of the funds. And then we also have the Enterprise Rehabilitation Fund. We realize that, let's say may bagyo, we always give ayuda, but we forget that the businesses collapses. So if we don't revitalize or revive the business, then nothing will happen to the ayuda that we gave. So we also have this Enterprise Rehabilitation Fund, which they can borrow from SB Corp. The processing time is 5 to 7 days na lang. All they need to do is to show the picture of where and to give the address, no, then we can already give the funding. And then aside from that, we have now, which we actually madami siya. We also have the OFW fund. So if I'm an OFW and I want to start a business, pwede din silang umutang doon sa SB Corp. Then we have the franchise funding. Let's say I want to get into franchise, pwede din. And then we also have the last one. What we just launched was the Women Enterprise Fund, meaning we support women-led businesses, women-owned enterprises, because we also encourage now the double income in a family. Kasi, di ba, usually sa family, it's only the husband who works. So if anything happens to the husband, the whole family suffers. So now we can have the wife start a business, let's say home industry. We've seen a lot of stars even now that have started from the women-led businesses. Let's say Mary Grace, the wife was making the ensaymada and the cheese roll at home while the husband went to work. And then that one pala became really big. Even yung mga CDO, yung mga meats. So we have a fund for the women-led enterprises. So encourage double income. So pag then the education gets better kasi may extra fund na sila, then they can now go on vacation and ano. So we have a lot of programs now or funds now under the SB Corporation with the same amount na 10 billion, but we made it strategic na. Although we have the fund naman for the business expansion fund, no? But at least sila, they can say na parang, oh, para sa akin pala ito. Yung ganon. So we have that funding. And before, the utilization rate of SB Corp was 2 billion, sorry. Now we've already consumed the 10 billion. In fact, we've asked from DBM an increase of 1.5 and we were able to get the 1.5 billion because of the utilization rate and because we're really able to let the people avail of this fund. So, yun. And other programs, we've used marketing strategies to really get the word out there that these are the programs of DTI. And we also have now, DTI goes to the regions. So we have this bus that lumang bus na rin. Then we just put the sticker that DTI goes to the regions. Then we all go there. And then we have a town hall meeting. And then we really tell the people what the programs of the DTI are. And then what they can, the programs that they can avail.
So there's a lot of coordination, I would imagine, that happens
Yes,
between and among the different departments to make sure that you're provided there's no overlap, that everything is streamlined, and that whoever's best capable of actually delivering the service that the people want is actually doing that particular job.
Yes, correct, Honorable Congressman. So we don't want the overlap na. So we, example for DOST, which before we would do, DTI had that program, we already referred to DOST. So they join us also when we go to the regions.
Yeah. Do you feel that there's an overlap when it comes to implementation of the Innovative Startup Act? I know that DTI is involved, DOST, and other departments. Is there an overlap that you feel takes away from the effectiveness of the program?
Yes, yes, there's an overlap. So what we're doing now is we're transferring some, let's say, departments or some GOCCs from us to the to another department which we feel na mas bagay sila doon para wala nang overlap.
Is that the reason why your budget for the Office of the Secretary was slashed to the tune of 25 million for ISA, the Innovative Startup Act? I think there was a...
I'm not sure if that or maybe the utilization rate because to be honest, that wasn't our expertise. So maybe for some, let me check. I'll forward you to Undersecretary Bless if that's. But for some, the utilization was very low because again, we were not the agency or the department that's really expert on that. So it's really best for us to transfer it.
To take a back seat and let them
to take a back seat and let them handle it. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier access to loans and credit. How can DTI help establish a unified ecosystem by working with the Department of Finance, Land Bank, DBP, and private lenders that not only extends credit but also builds a financial capability of our people, enabling them to graduate from subsistence to sustainable entrepreneurship? So it's more about capacity building. How do you ensure that?
Actually, I've met with the different banks. I've also met with government banks. But of course, for them, they have certain guidelines that they need to follow. But for us, SB Corp, which is under us, we have more control of the patakaran or of the rules that we can really give to the MSMEs. This is precisely why we also ask for bigger budget for SB Corporation. But for other banks, let's say the private banks, of course, they're limited also from what they can offer, especially that they need to earn money or they have a certain income that they really expect every year. But for Land Bank, I spoke to the president also. They also have some programs, but of course, they also have guidelines that they need to follow. Then for DBP, I'm working on something with DBP, which is the palengke, for the people in the palengke, because part of our job is to go around the palengke, and they borrow a lot from the bigger interest companies. So what we want to do is to let DBP, Paymaya, and GCash, the three of them plus us, to work on a system on how we can loan to the palengke using the same strategy that they use, but of course with a really much lower interest rate, especially because these are government banks. So parang the process kasi of the palengke is, I'm a palengke owner, I go to the lender, I get the money, and then tomorrow I go to, let's say, Divisoria to get my items, sell it in the palengke, then in the night pay the lender, then borrow again. So that's the cycle na paikot-ikot. So DBP, GCash, and Paymaya using the digital platform also makes it easier for them. So this is something that we should be launching anytime soon.
Can you, Madam Secretary, outline how you align entrepreneurship and SME development with TESTA training and DOLE employment programs to ensure that training translates not into underemployment but into thriving enterprises and sustainable jobs? Again, this is the coordination between DTI,
and TESTA,
and DOLE to make it more relevant for the beneficiaries.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Honorable Congressman. For TESDA, I'm working really closely with Secretary Kiko Benitez, and we've already agreed to implement specific training. We can't be general anymore. Let's say general business, general whichever industry ang malakas or whichever industry ang may potential, doon kami talagang nakafocus. Let's say semiconductors or let's say yung mga aviation engineers, pero specific, doon talaga nakafocus ang TESDA training in coordination with DTI. We don't do any more generals, but we do specifics.
Okay. What are DTI's concrete plans to strengthen local value chains by linking rural producers to urban centers and global supply chains?
Okay.
to ensure that growth is not concentrated in enclaves but cascades to the grassroots. So giving them access to market, being the bridge between the producer and the consumer.
Okay, we've also added now our trade shows when
Please wrap up, Kong Tony. Yeah, she's
last na po. Okay. So before we had konting trade shows lang, mga three in a year. Now this year we have 12. Because in the trade shows, we were able to see the potential of them really generating income. And we've also engaged people to bring in. There's a company kasi that can bring in wholesale buyers, consolidators, buyers for hotels, buyers for cafe, bulk buyers, in other words, both local and global. So we have brought them in. So our sales, as I mentioned earlier, has already increased from dati 15 million for the 5 days. We've already increased to 50 million, and the people attending now is already 50,000. And then we had now the 113 million pesos for 5 days also. Yan yung sales nila with 60,000 people coming in. Those counts are not ours. Those counts are SM's counts. So we've already increased the sales leaps and bounds times 5. Yung iba nag-increase na by 49%. So madami na sila talagang nag-export. In fact, the people that joined the trade show, dumadami na sila. And we've also established now specific trade shows. Hindi na yung labo-labo, ganon. So we have food trade shows, we have bridal trade shows, we have cosmetic trade shows, we have arts and crafts trade shows, meaning we made it also specifics. Para it's not in general na tayo. We make it, example, like the doctors, di ba? Wala nang general practitioner masyado. It's like heart, doctor, cardiologist, OB-GYN, yung mga specific. So that's also what we did to the trade show, so that we can put in the best of what we have from Region 1 to Region 18 by using this platform. And all of these are free. These are subsidized by the DTI. So we also invite foreign buyers, and we also invite yung consolidators who have access to market abroad to have a look at and all the products here are compliant, meaning they have the business permit, they are FDA approved, and they are also have the business name registration, whether with SEC or with DTI.
And for my last question, how does DTI engage locators and private sector players in eco zones to integrate local communities through supplier development, technology transfer, and local hiring into the cycle of productivity and reinvestment? Because Bataan is, as you know, the entire Bataan is an economic zone. So that particular question is really special to Bataan.
Okay, of course, for the trade zones, no, we encourage that for foreign investors. But for the bigger players, we give them actually the options for them where they want to open the manufacturing plant for the big players in the Philippines. And then plus the incentives of the Create More, they are now actually really looking to establish their manufacturing plant in these zones, whether in Bulacan, whether in Bataan, whether in Clark, or also in Batangas. So that's what we constantly have meetings with them talaga.
And you encourage them to basically tap local talent.
Pardon? Yes, and of course, yeah, we tap local talent. Actually, we really need to beef up the local talent, because like even for the semiconductor, which we are putting now a department in the DTI, parang yung mga malalakas, we put somebody to really take charge of that, because I asked the companies, what do you need? Talent. So again, we really need to beef up and work closely with TESDA, CHED, and DepEd.
Is my time up, or do I have one last short question that I can ask? One last question. Ma'am, I saw you have a lot of programs. It's in one of the pages. I actually wanted to count them, but I kind of lost heart because there were too many. This must be a big marketing headache for you.
Yeah.
To what extent do you use AI to basically market your services, and how much of your budget is dedicated to AI?
Yeah, actually for the programs, those were the programs made by the past. So what I'm going to do now is to actually put them, not really consolidate them, but at least strengthen them by putting, let's say, two programs can become one, and then we use the budget to really